What is good, YouTube? We're back with another banger. As y'all can tell, I know I told y'all I probably wasn't gonna be posting no videos, but I'm bored as fuck. I'm not gonna lie. I hopped on the game. Game got bored. Game got boring as fuck. Nigga was doom scrolling on TikTok. That shit got depressing as fuck. You feel me? I'm not gonna do that to myself, nigga. You feel me? It's 12:30. I'm not gonna. You feel me? I'm not gonna do that to myself. I kind of already did do it to myself, but you feel me? Get your mind. You feel me? Get your mind right, bro. Whenever you feel like you finna have a, you feel me? Whenever you feel like you finna trip out, you feel like you finna have a bad day or you finna have a bad mood, bro. Just try to get out that shit, bro. I know it doesn't work the best, but you know it's better to distract yourself than to feel me? Cause I'm sure as hell not tired, and I'll be down just being fucking depressed for the next fucking 2-3 hours till I go to sleep. So, but why not, you feel me, why not knock out another 3-4 videos, nigga? I already, you feel me, this grind is gonna be worth it. I know it, nigga. I know all this shit I'm doing. I know me posting 10, 11, 12 videos a day, man. I know all this shit gonna be worth it sooner or later, bro. Shit sucks that it takes so fucking long. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like, I always tell y'all, bro, I'm 19 years old, bro, and like, nothing's changed, bro. When I say the past 6 months, bro, I say fucking 7 months, really, nigga. Damn near finna be a year, bro. I've been doing nothing but changing, bro. I've been doing better. Like I've been doing great. Like me, I've been doing great. But nigga, I already told y'all, my motherfuckers around me, nigga, weird. Me, feel me? Like I'm just not doing good mentally, bro. But nigga, I know all this shit gonna work out, bro. I hope I can find somebody. I hope I can find a good support system that, not a support system, but I hope I can find a whole bunch of supporters that, relate to, what a nigga be. I do all this shit for motivation, nigga. I could really give a fuck if I blow up on YouTube. Like obviously, I want that. That's the whole point of, going on YouTube. But I could give a fuck if I had 50K followers. I could give a fuck if I had 20K followers. If I was able to feel me, support my daughter or whatever, nigga, and literally make, nigga, some cool shit, you feel me? And no, I would be able to, nigga, I promise you, I do all this shit just to motivate people, show people, and nigga, it's possible, nigga, I promise you. I was watching this nigga fight probably 10 years ago, nigga, in his apartment, you feel me? Like, I know it takes time, I know it's possible, but it just fucking sucks, bro. Like, damn, bro, I ain't been doing good and being genuine for my nothing but my whole fucking life, nigga. Everything I do is genuine. Everything I do is good, nigga. And it'd be fucked up when like a good person, like I'm a great fucking person. It'd be fucked up when a good person just always fucking loses, always fucking loses, nigga. And that shit sucks, bro. Like, I ain't gonna lie. I tell motherfuckers all the time, bro. Being a good person really does not do shit for you. Like, yeah, I know, Big Bro up there gonna peep. I know he's watching down on me. I know he's proud of me, but bro, being on this fucking earth though, like this shit does nothing for you, bro. I'm dead ass, bro. You be the greatest person of all fucking time, bro. The nicest person of all time, the most genuine person of all time, bro. I promise you, that shit does nothing for you, bro. Cause nigga, I'm living proof, nigga. 19 years of fucking just hell, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Like this shit fucking sucks, bro. But I'm gonna stop fucking trauma. I'm gonna stop trauma dumping on y'all. Let's get straight into the video. We got ex-cop lived a double life as a Golden State Killer. Seems pretty interesting. Let's get right into it.
Decades, he was a ghost. He slipped through windows, taunted police, and left behind nothing but terror. The Golden State Killer wasn't just one of America's most elusive predators, he was a living mystery. Then out of nowhere, a single discovery cracked the case wide open, something no one saw coming. On today's episode of the Infographic Show, we're looking at how they caught the Golden State Killer. The old man sat alone in an interrogation room. He was in his 70s, balding, gray, and mumbling to himself. He made me. He's a part of me. I didn't want to do those things.
Oh, hell no.
Joseph James D'Angelo seemed like a man who had done everything right in life, happily married with 3 children, university educated in criminal justice, a Vietnam veteran, a police officer.
I don't remember. You feel me? I don't remember putting my caption on. That's all. I was kind of confused while the most were popping up. Which I mean, I guess I could. Nah, if y'all, you feel me? Y'all could listen. You feel me? Just use y'all's ears. I was gonna say, I was like, bro, I usually don't be having my captions on. Why the fuck are them hoes? I thought it was just the video, and then I had to go check, and I was like, nah, that bitch is not just the video. I don't know how the fuck my captions just randomly turned on.
But that didn't mean that there wasn't a darker side. In the mid-70s, while working as a cop in the burglary unit in Exeter, California, he spent his nights lurking around quiet neighborhoods. At first, he was just watching, studying houses, learning their routines, their weak spots. But curiosity turned into something more sinister. Watching wasn't enough anymore. He started breaking into homes, rifling through drawers, tossing women's underwear around, stealing small, meaningless things, earrings, cufflinks, medallions, and coins from piggy banks. It wasn't about making money, it was about feeding an urge he couldn't control. As a former burglary investigator, he knew every way into a home. The weak window latches, the unlit corners where he wouldn't be spotted, even the sound a door made when it wasn't quite locked. He always wore gloves and a mask, and like many burglars driven by dark impulses, he liked to leave surprises, bottles balanced on doorknobs ready to crash to the floor the moment the terrified family got back home. It wasn't so much the break-in that mattered, it was the terror he knew people would feel. But it couldn't stay that way forever. He had been stalking the 16-year-old daughter of a journalism professor in Visalia, the city where most of his burglaries had taken place. Around 2 in the morning, the professor woke to strange noises, muffled cries coming from his daughter's room. When he threw open the door, he came face to face with a man in a ski mask trying to drag her outside. The intruder shouted a threat, then opened fire. 2 bullets struck the father, killing him instantly. The girl fought back, kicking and scratching. She thought he was going to shoot her too, but he took off into the night. In December 1976, a teenager was home alone, her parents away at a Christmas party. As she was practicing piano, a masked D'Angelo crept up behind her. "Do what I say," he whispered in her ear, "or I'll kill you and be gone in the dark." For 2 hours, he assaulted and tormented her like she was his slave, but he let her live. Gagged, blindfolded, and shaking, she managed to get free and call for help. His compulsions drove him to do the same to dozens of young women in the suburbs of East Sacramento. He would first scout a home, always near a trail or a creek, somewhere he could vanish into the night without being seen. He would watch the occupants, usually single women. Sometimes he would call the house to learn who was home, other times just to terrify her with the sounds of his breathing. He was thorough, always. He would spend weeks, even months, ensuring that the night he chose to spring his trap, they would be home alone and in a vulnerable state, usually sleeping with a door or a window open. His attacks became so frequent that women from the suburbs bought dogs and handguns. In May 1977, the LA Times wrote that on some streets, residents banded together to protect the vulnerable. At least one person would stay awake, keeping watch. By this point, D'Angelo had amassed 23 break-ins with 11 attacks against women, and he was just getting started. He almost always chose middle and upper-income neighborhoods, while he preferred to
I be telling y'all, bro, shit was so much more different back then, bro. You gotta understand, these niggas had the confidence of fucking LeBron James, bro. You gotta understand, these niggas had the confidence of fucking Steph Curry shooting a half-court shot, niggas. Dude, these niggas had the confidence of Steph Curry shooting a fucking three-pointer, my nigga, like. They had no cameras, like, or if they did have cameras, the motherfuckers were either grainy as fuck or ass as fuck. If they did have them, which were probably very few, nigga. Like that's really all, nigga. Cameras, like, nigga, these niggas did not give a fuck. There was no cameras, there was no people. Like, if there was no, you know what I mean? If there was no, what's it called? If there was no what's it called? If there was no witnesses, bro. These niggas, I'm telling y'all, that's literally like a fucking layup to these niggas, bro. No cameras, no witnesses, bro. Back in that day, that's literally a fucking layup for these type of niggas, bro. Yeah, it's fucked up, bro.
Prey on women who lived alone, he didn't discriminate. Couples and worse, families with children were all fair game. He was careful not to be seen, but his description was already in the news. White, male, maybe age 19 to 30, with dark blonde or brown hair. And it turned out to be fairly accurate.
Maybe I am sorry.
If there was a husband or a boyfriend, D'Angelo knew he would be asleep. And when he woke up, there would be a gun in his face. Staring down at them was a man in a mask, the eye slits barely visible in the dark. His voice was calm, commanding. The woman was ordered to tie her partner's hands and feet with rope or shoelaces. He would take the woman to another room, but first he would stack dishes or cups on the man's back. If anything broke, the woman would die, and the partner would be next. It was terrifying, eerily similar to what California would face a decade later, when Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, began stalking suburban homes in the dead of night. D'Angelo was the original Night Stalker, not quite as devilish, but equally evil and much smarter. He struck again and again. On one
This shit got me kind of creeped out, nigga. I'm fucking peeping my window. My shit. I usually leave my shit open because me and my nigga Bruno be having staring contests at my shit. But you feel me? No, I don't mean like my actual window open. I'm not that fucking stupid. I wish a nigga would come in my shit. You feel me? But I'll be lying if I said that bitch don't. Nigga, you feel me? Obviously, I would hope a motherfucker don't hop in my backyard and you feel me? But my shit do be open. That's crazy, and they could really be watching me sleep. That should be I don't want to I don't like thinking about shit like that, but bro, nowadays you dead ass do not know, bro. Motherfuckers is weird. I'm not the type of nigga that just be scared. Are you tripping for no reason? I'm not that type of nigga, but it's just like, damn, bro. I be watching so much shit like this. It's like, damn, bro. You never really know. Yo, what's up, serial killer? You feel me? Like, you never really know. A nigga could really be outside my shit right now and be plotting to fucking murk my shit because I do content or because I got a, you feel me? Cause I got a little buzz on Instagram. You feel me? Like, that should be crazy as hell. Niggas might be really wanting to, you feel me? Or because of the shit I react to, niggas might not fuck with what I post or might not. You feel me? That should be crazy. You feel me? You looking ass. Nah, I'm fucking with y'all.
Occasion, the victim was a teenage girl, but this time it was the mother who had to sit there with the plates piled on her back as cries rang through the house. If D'Angelo heard the plates fall, he threatened to cut off her daughter's fingers. He would take his time, sometimes spending hours at the house. He would go through every drawer in every room. He would upturn cupboards and root through bags. He'd sit in the kitchen eating sandwiches and drinking orange juice from the fridge. Sometimes the victims thought he had gone, and they would shift slightly and the plates would rattle, and then his silhouette would appear in the doorway. From June 1976 to June 1979, he broke into at least 50 houses, leaving dozens of victims in his wake. He had killed the professor, but so far, he had let his other victims live. That was about to change. No one knows exactly what pushed him further into violence, but 1979 was the year he was fired from the police force. He'd been caught shoplifting a hammer and a can of dog repellent, handy tools for a man who broke into homes, and he preferred not to leave a paper.
That's not, like, if that's not, nigga, they need to put that in a report or something. Y'all just, I promise y'all, these niggas probably fired the nigga and probably didn't report the shit or probably didn't put it in his files, nothing, nigga. They did ass probably just fired the nigga and, hey, okay, cool. Nigga, bro, dog repellent and a fucking sledgehammer? That's two crazy ass duos, nigga. I don't give a fuck. Feel me? First of all, why do you need dog repellent, nigga? You're an officer. I'm not saying, you feel me? I don't even think they really had dogs like that back in the day like that, but, or police dogs, but, nigga, still. If I'm this nigga officer, if I'm this nigga's partner or this nigga chief, nigga, why do you need police repellent? Nigga, hey, they need to make some shit like that. I need that. You feel me? I need that. As soon as I see a police officer coming up to me about some bullshit, nigga, looking ass. But nah, no bullshit. I'll be like, bro, why do you need dog repellent, nigga? Nigga? Oh hell, you feel me? I'm already off the rip. I'm red flag, nigga. What?
Trail. He then threatened to murder the police chief, even stalking his house. Still, no one even.
This nigga got some balls. This nigga got some balls, nigga. You trying to stalk the police chief? First of all, threaten the police chief, nigga. If I'm a police chief, as soon as a nigga threatens me because I just fired him because he did something stupid, nigga talking about some, alright, you gonna regret that. Fuck, well, hold up, no, you're not leaving shit where? What the fuck do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? I'm gonna regret this? That's a threat, nigga. Fuck do you mean by that? Nigga, keep playing with me. I will have surveillance on your ass 24/7. Obviously, back in the day, they didn't have actual surveillance, but nigga, I don't give a fuck. If I'm the police chief, I'm gonna have a police cruiser watching your every move, my nigga, till the day you die. You feel me? You not gonna play with me. I don't give a fuck. I will have 2 police cruisers walking around with you every single place you go. Not walking around with you because that's kind of illegal, but I will have them motherfuckers follow you at every step, my nigga. Fuck you mean? I'm gonna regret that. Alright, cool. You gonna regret saying that. Hey, can we get literally, bro? Your every move, you got me fucked up.
Even remotely suspected he was the man terrorizing suburban Northern California. On the outside, D'Angelo was a regular, happily married guy. Still, in the early 70s, signs were there he had a problem with women. He had been close to a girl named Bonnie. She was 18 when they were both students at Sierra College in Rocklin, California. It seemed like a good match, for a while at least. As time went on, she saw that her new boyfriend had absolutely no respect for authority, always breaking rules. If she ever complained, he was prone to outbursts. So when he bought her a solitary engagement ring, she wasn't sure that she wanted to take the plunge. When she refused to help him cheat on an exam, he lost it, turning up at her house with a gun, tapping on her window and demanding they elope. That was enough for Bonnie. He was clearly not right.
That's crazy. I ain't gonna lie. And I would talk shit, but bro, there still be niggas like that. I ain't gonna lie. Y'all don't be hearing the stories because usually the females be too scared to, speak on the shit because, again, these niggas are crazy as fuck. But, bro, I'm telling you, there still be niggas like that, bro. Type of nigga that, hey, take another shot, take another shot, take another shot. Them type of niggas. Then you got dead ass just niggas that will dead ass just harm you if you don't feel like, feel me? If you don't feel like, feel me? Yes, nigga. Tess, I ain't gonna lie, that's crazy, too.
Right in the head. Many years later, she would tell the police he hated rejection, lacked a conscience, and was intelligent but obsessive-compulsive and intimidated by other males. She left him, and a couple of years later, he started hurting women. One time, when he was on top of one of his victims, he had shouted at her, "I hate you, Bonnie." For the cops, this was a lead, but it took many years for them to figure out who Bonnie was. If D'Angelo had problems with Bonnie, he seemed to get along with Sharon, the woman he married in 1973, a year before his burglaries began. Sharon was highly intelligent and would later become an attorney, the mother of his 3 children. One of his daughters would later describe him as the perfect father. He was living a double life, making believable excuses that he had to spend a lot of time out in the evenings at night. For them, he was a stand-up citizen who just worked hard. After all, before his job as a cop, he had served with the Navy in Vietnam. Still, it seems his problems started with the military. As a young boy, he had seen 2 U.S. Air Force soldiers abuse his sister when his strict military father was stationed in Germany. Details are scarce, but his sister would later say their dad beat him severely. He was clearly damaged goods as he got older. In school, he became a habitual thief and tortured animals. To his family, he was the perfect father.
I'm telling y'all, bro. There'd be signs way before the signs, bro. I'm telling y'all, there'd be signs way before the actual. You feel me? I'm telling you, any type of case, bro, where it be like a serial killer or a fucking weirdo, whatever the case is, school shooter or whatever. Most of the time, these niggas be doing crazy ass shit when they're a kid, and the parents don't be. I mean, obviously, the dad obviously didn't give a fuck about him, whatever the case is, but. Nigga, most of the time, the parents just don't be giving a fuck. But, bro, there be signs. And then y'all be waiting until nigga breaks his breaking point. You feel me?
Camping trips, fishing lessons, the portrait of normalcy. But his niece later said, "I feel like someone else was inside him, someone I never knew." It was this stranger, this Hyde for his Jekyll, that entered a house in Goleta, a town near Santa Barbara, on October 1st, 1979. He tied his victim up in the living room, her hands behind her feet bound, wrapping her tennis shorts around her head so she couldn't get a good look at him. For a while, he just left her there on the carpet as she heard him rifling through the drawers in her kitchen. Her boyfriend was also in the house, bound and left in the bedroom. It was 2:20 a.m. As the intruder paced the house, he muttered, "I'll kill him, I'll kill him, I'll kill him," over and over again. Who was he referring to? That was what the detectives had to figure out. He was obviously angry at someone. The woman didn't waste time thinking. She managed to free her feet and bolted out of the front door, screaming into the night. Her boyfriend, still bound, hopped into the backyard and hid beneath an orange tree as D'Angelo's flashlight grazed the branches. This one was a failure. He left the house only to be spotted by a neighbor described as lean in build and getting away on a stolen 10-speed bicycle. He wouldn't fail like that again. People can't run if they're dead. 3 months later, in December, police got a call from a crying woman. There had been a break-in at a house about half a mile from where D'Angelo had botched his previous raid. There are 2 people dead inside, the woman told the arriving police as she sat on the step outside. And sure enough, 2 bodies were found dead in the bedroom of a very fancy house. The man, a 44-year-old orthopedic surgeon, and his partner, a 35-year-old clinical psychologist, were bound with rope. He was kneeling on the floor with a cord around his neck, and she was naked on the bed. Detectives believed the female had tied the man and was then assaulted, but she had purposefully not made a strong knot. This enabled the man to wriggle free, which was when D'Angelo went into killing mode. He'd shot them both several times in the heart and head, execution style. But this was no ordinary killer. He had obviously been calm throughout the operation. Police found a turkey carcass wrapped in cellophane. After the intruder had pulled the trigger, he'd had a bite to eat from what must have been a previous Christmas dinner. The crime had all the hallmarks of the Sacramento break-ins, but this was over 300 miles away, and the predator had left no one alive. Still, it was obvious the perpetrator had done this before. This was a professional job. Investigators in Northern California were sure it was the same man, but Santa Barbara detectives weren't on board. They treaded carefully, not wanting to spark panic. But when the killer struck again that March, this time in upscale Ventura, it began to look like the monster of Sacramento had found new hunting ground. And again, he was in no mood for leaving survivors. At the upscale property, two people, whom the media described as a prominent attorney and his wife, were found by their 12-year-old son lying on their bed in a puddle of blood. Both face down, they had been bound and beaten to death with a hard object. There were no signs of a struggle or anything stolen. This was a slaying, pure and simple, the work of someone very, very angry, maybe someone with a grudge. Since the man was likely to take an appointment as a judge, it's possible he had enemies. But then there was another double murder. Keith and Patrice Harrington found dead in their gated community house in Dana Point, Orange County in August. And in February 1981, a woman in her house in Irvine, Orange County, she had been bludgeoned to death. At the time, her husband was in the hospital. As police started pointing the finger at him, he had to put up with strange phone calls in the middle of the night. D'Angelo was taunting him, torturing him. The cops had the husband as the main suspect. No one believed him about the phone calls. It drove him to alcoholism, and he wouldn't be the last person to be suspected of D'Angelo's crimes, because D'Angelo was smart. In one of the murders, he staged it to look like a robbery so detectives wouldn't join the dots. In another, he killed the woman and removed her binds. Forensics could see the ligature marks, but by no means did the police link all of these murders to one person. D'Angelo couldn't stop himself, killing another couple in July, again in Goleta. The male had tried to attack the intruder but was shot dead. The woman was bound, abused, and bludgeoned to death, hit dozens of times. Again, it looked like overkill. But after that, silence. D'Angelo didn't attack again until 1986, one of his most grisly murders. An 18-year-old girl in Irvine was home alone as her parents enjoyed their vacation in Mexico. D'Angelo knew that she would be asleep when he entered through a window. He tied her up, and after he was done, he hit her so hard with an object that her hair and teeth were later found in her lungs. She barely looked human. Then, in 1986, the killing stopped. This time for good. Ramirez, the Night Stalker, was already behind bars, one killer down, but another still out there. Investigators began calling D'Angelo the original Night Stalker, or ONS. After that, he vanished. No more attacks, no more clues, just silence. Detectives assumed that he was either dead or in prison for another crime. Not for a second did any of them assume they were looking for a loving husband and father in gainful employment, especially one who had once served his country and the police force. They knew the killer was forensically aware, careful, methodical, and patient. Detectives understood his modus operandi. They also linked the Sacramento break-ins to the later murders with more certainty. But in truth, they were no closer to identifying Joseph James D'Angelo than they were to splitting the atom. The trail went cold, and that is the dark irony of detective work. Sometimes you need a killer to strike again to find justice for the others. They were likely hunting a man responsible for well over 150 crimes, burglaries, assaults on women he allowed to live, and at least 13 murders. They only had a vague physical description of him, but crucially, they almost certainly had a recording of his voice. It's highly likely D'Angelo was behind a chilling call to the Sacramento Police Department in the late 1970s, taunting officers that they would never catch him. That wasn't the only call. Later, one of his victims picked up the phone only to hear a voice whisper, "You are going to die." Maybe the most significant call in terms of profiling came a year later when a man called a counseling service and said, "I have a problem. I need help because I don't want to do this anymore." But if he felt regret or remorse, his Jekyll soon became Hyde again. He'd call the houses of the women he had attacked and allowed to live, letting them know that the man who had hurt them was still around. The last known call was in 2001, long after he had stopped, when he said to one of his victims, "Remember when we played?" Police knew they were dealing with a sick individual, and it rankled them. He was seemingly right under their noses, but invisible. He was definitely local. They had his description, his voice, but one of the problems was that criminal profilers didn't always agree. Detectives had 9 different profiles, and they were each quite unique. They weren't released for public consumption, although the FBI said in the media that the killer may have an interest in training in military or law enforcement techniques, and he was proficient with firearms. All correct. They also said he was methodical and a trophy hunter, so if someone knew anyone with a stash of medals or cufflinks, they should get in touch. It wasn't until the 2000s, when forensic DNA technology had advanced, that detectives were sure the original Night Stalker was the same man behind the dozens of violent break-ins in and around East Sacramento. Still, they were lost. The case was dead in the water, until someone had a flashbulb moment years later. In the 2010s, millions of people with a few spare dollars were mailing off their saliva to genealogy companies. After a quick DNA test, the results came back telling them their ancestors were from Scotland, Norway, and Angola. It was the latest global craze, a seemingly harmless novelty you bought for your nephew for Christmas, or so everyone thought. No one imagined it would one day help track a serial killer. Investigators took DNA from one of the Golden State Killer's crime scenes and converted it into a digital genetic profile, the same kind as those consumer genealogy databases like 23andMe. As for privacy, well, that took a back seat. By matching shared genetic markers, analysts traced the DNA through distant relatives, third, even fourth cousins, until the family tree began to narrow. 2 names emerged. One was ruled out by DNA, leaving just a single man, Joseph James D'Angelo. There were lots of people in that tree, but he was by far the best. An ex-cop who had been in the military, who when he was younger looked like the guy in their profile. He was also the perfect age, and when they dug deeper, they discovered he had been fired from the police and had anger issues that he sometimes waved guns around. The problem, though, was that he was happily married with children. Then again, so were John Wayne Gacy and the BTK. Sometimes normality is the best shield. Still, detectives weren't quite ready to spring their trap. In the media, he was now known as the Golden State Killer, a name coined by writer Michelle McNamara, who investigated the case for years. Not long before her death, she wrote an article for LA Magazine in which she explained the killer liked to bomb neighborhoods, literally attacking house after house all within a short distance of each other. She said he called the victims already traumatized by his late-night visit to breathlessly inform them, "I'm going to kill you." She wrote, "He was a phantom who kept his victims perpetually frightened with the threat that he lurked." The case drove her to the edge of madness. She barely slept at night, hardly ever hugged her daughter, and then she died right before the police cracked it wide open. D'Angelo was 72 when cops knocked down his door in April 2018 in a quiet suburb of Sacramento, the kind of neighborhood he had once stalked. He was living with his daughter and granddaughter, both of them believing he was a caring man, their hero. Police had been watching since they had found his family tree, and then they had secretly collected some of his DNA from a used tissue in his garbage. He was a perfect match. Bundy, Gacy, Dahmer, Zodiac, Night Stalker, the son of Sam, and now D'Angelo was joining them in the serial killer Hall of Infamy. He was a quiet family man, but neighbors said he was sometimes strange. He'd mow the lawn like he had OCD, trimming it perfectly from end to end, sometimes yelling out curse words to no one in particular. One neighbor told the detectives he'd once had a run-in with D'Angelo, after which the former cop threatened to deliver a load of death on him. At the time, it sounded like the rant of an angry old man. In hindsight, it was a warning. In the interrogations, D'Angelo didn't come clean on every charge. He told them back in the dark ages of the 70s and 80s, he'd had a guy in his head named Jerry who had made him do bad things. Maybe he was trying for a diminished responsibility claim, but it sure seemed real when D'Angelo was alone in the station and said to himself, "I didn't want to do those things. I pushed Jerry out. I destroyed all their lives. So now I've got to pay the price." At the trial, he sat in a wheelchair, his face covered with a mask due to the COVID pandemic. It was grimly ironic. He never once looked over at his victims or their families as they listed off the trauma and sadness he had caused. That 16-year-old girl, the daughter of the slain journalism professor, now in middle age, told the court, "He then turned the gun on me as I was down on the ground. My only thought was, this is it. I lived in fear," she said, thinking one day he'd come back for her. The daughter of Lyman Smith, Carol, took the stand. For years, She had been a major suspect hounded by the press, ignored by her neighbors. She wiped the tears from her eyes and looked over at D'Angelo, saying, "I have lived with the shame for decades. It's your shame, Joe." He barely even looked up. "I hope he rots," said the sister of the girl whose face was so badly beaten that it was a closed casket funeral. The pain this man had caused had rippled through generations. D'Angelo pleaded guilty to various crimes, including 13 counts of murder. He stood up from his wheelchair, took off his mask, and told the court, "I listened to all your statements, each one of them, and I'm truly sorry for everyone I've hurt." He is serving consecutive life sentences without parole at California State Prison. At 79, he will likely die there. Catching the Golden State Killer was one.
That's crazy. Nice little entertaining one. Nice little shit. Nice little entertaining one on some shit. Trying to peep what to say really. Be careful really. That's pretty. Be careful. Be safe. Make sure everywhere you go, I always tell y'all, make sure everywhere you go, always have that head on a swivel. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with just checking here and there, bro. Use your head when you're out of town. I mean, when you're doing something, just be smart. Don't be putting yourself in no type of, predicaments or, situations that you shouldn't be in. You feel me? Just be smart. I don't really got nothing else to yap to y'all about, man. Love y'all niggas. If y'all like the video, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. It mean a lot to y'all nigga. Other than that, I love y'all. Make sure y'all wake up tomorrow, get to it, be great, put a smile on someone's face, be kind to someone, do a good deed, hold the door for somebody. Just be a great person tomorrow. I'm gonna fuck with y'all when I fuck with y'all. Peace.